We're all set.
All right, we're here to meet today and call to order the Communications Committee meeting on Thursday, October 16th. The first is, I will call the meeting to order and a roll call. It's Larry Kane.
Counselor Anderson.
Thanks. Do we have any public comment?
We do not have anyone online.
And the next thing is the approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? That's unanimous. Now we're quickly to item 5, staff updates.
Great. Couple of things, keeping it brief. One, we sent out a voter guide last week, a special edition newsletter that we have been doing. And it was something that we did last year for the fall election too, but last year we did it closer to the actual day of voting, election day. And there was a little bit of feedback that we should do it earlier to coincide with early voting. So that's why we did it last week when early voting started. And that seems to have gotten some good response and feedback, and was a good way to just put all the information together. We were in discussion with ETC Institute, Jason, who does the community survey, and that's final, and it should be getting mailed out this week or next week.
This week, it should be in.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, so
They did take longer, I think, with their internal processes than we thought. It's generally 6 weeks for them to turn around the results and start some preliminary data. So I don't think it's gonna impact what we actually need it for, but I'm glad we started as early as we did, because it kind of dragged out longer than we thought.
Did they end up tweaking the format at all in the
We
end?
got it to 8 pages.
Okay.
So that, and again, the last page is just demographic information, so it's really
Okay,
more of a
okay,
7-page
sure.
survey. Again, they'll send it to 4,500 households. The magic number is 600 responses. So we'll start plugging, or Allison has already started, but we'll plug some awareness around that.
yeah,
And again, the big caveat is if you don't get a survey, you can still participate and provide feedback.
Yeah.
I've gotten that question a lot when I've just said to people, they're gonna send out randomly, well, what if I want to return them? So, but
yeah, so it's,
we did. Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit publicly, but.
yeah, it'd be good to reiterate that point now. Yeah, I have been putting it in the past few newsletters, so it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone, but I'll start ramping up now that it's actually getting mailed out. I didn't want to do that too soon, but I'll add that point too to emphasize. And then lastly, the Scarborough Living magazine, we are going to keep with the cadence of their every 2-month issue and do another insert for their, the next one is the December-January issue. So it's going to be, I'm doing more of a counselor presence in this one. So I have a Council Corner article to plug that you can read all the archive of Council Corner articles on the website. And I'm going to feature April just with her term ending and highlighting her years of service with the board and the council. And then I'm going to try to incorporate some more seasonal, with it being winter time, public works, highlighting them.
It would actually be cool, not to steal April's thunder, but I like stealing her thunder. To maybe do a little bit, like how you had mentioned yesterday, that there's really good traction when we share personal stories. I don't think we've ever really, like, I guess when we
Profile the
campaign,
council.
when we
Yeah.
campaign, we kind of do it, but like, once we're all elected, it would be cool to say, these are your 7 counselors, and like something about us that maybe just reintroduces us to the public.
Yeah, were we talking about this, or someone was talking about like on certain websites where it has the counselor images, but underneath saying kind of like a line about why you're on the council or something, but it would be good to personalize you all.
We just have pictures too, like,
Yeah.
so people know when they see us,
Yeah,
And
who we are.
some, like, what you don't know about them or something, I
Yeah.
mean, you know.
Fun fact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that a hobby, or I don't know if
Yeah.
that is corny, but something that just like you're doing with the staff, where it brings them to life a little bit, it's
Yeah.
outside of just being a staff member.
Mhm.
yeah, and Corey, I'm profiling his Council Corner article because I think it was his that said that people forget that we're also residents
Yeah.
too. So it's like, yeah, we care about the same things you do.
Mhm.
Good to reiterate that point.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on how in-depth, but you could have almost like fun facts or something. It could be, favorite Scarborough restaurant. or
Oh,
something.
true, like
Yeah,
more
yeah,
Scarborough
yeah.
Yeah.
specific.
Or maybe that's something we can do in the e-news as like part of the
Yeah.
concert corner, like
Kind of
whoever
a
writes it
reintroduction.
Yeah.
does
That's
like a
it.
little,
Bio.
yeah, blurb.
Oh, yeah.
So that way it's a little bit more personalizing it.
Yeah. Yeah, like in the last insert, I did some showing the picture of the staff person who was kind of related to that article, so I'm gonna start doing that
Mhm.
more regularly
Okay.
too.
Can I ask a question going back to the survey? Are either of you guys really good at using the dashboard and like knowing how to like filter and do queries and stuff?
Yeah, I don't think I've played with it in a few years.
Yeah, I'm wondering if when Jason comes, if he could like spend some time just re-showing us how to like filter to do things, because I
Yeah.
remember I did it one time and it was insightful to when you start saying like, show me this and this
Yeah, and you can
together.
filter.
Yeah.
Mhm. And location of town.
Yeah.
And demographic or something.
Yeah,
Or what they
because
answered on certain things.
I think it's always helpful to like slice and dice it.
Yeah.
And it would be helpful for him just to again rewalk us and the public through like how do you slice and dice it.
Yeah, I think when he does his presentation, I think we can certainly ask him to do his presentation with the findings and the high level analysis, but just for those who want to dive a little bit deeper, here's how you
Mhm.
navigate that
Mhm.
dashboard, because that was one of the big selling points.
Yeah.
This provided.
Where does that presentation happen?
That will be once all the data is, he does a presentation to council on the findings,
Okay,
and so that
Is that
will
a
happen.
workshop or
That's it.
meeting?
I think in the past, it's been like a 30-minute workshop
Okay.
before, meet in December.
Kind of related to what you're saying too, something I've been thinking about that has been a challenge, so maybe you guys have some ideas. The vulnerability assessment, how it has that dashboard with the flood mapping out and projecting out the years. And I heard that as a comment last night too, but just that it can be hard for just a lay person in town to like know what they're looking for and how to change that out. So I've just been trying to think of like, how can I take the next step in communicating that? Because right now I'm just like posting a link to that, but
Yeah.
not like showing how to use it or.
Maybe like a short video.
I think there's some instructions within that. Says, click on this to see
Okay.
your own property. And,
Yeah.
but I don't remember the depth of it.
But it would be cool if we could, like you're saying, a video or something like show examples of it in real time, or I don't know, someone either walking through or taking that information that's on there and like bringing it out.
Yeah, be good for like Jamie to like on a Zoom record it and just
Yeah,
be like,
yeah,
type in address and
right.
show.
Use a
how-
hypothetical example and.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those are my big updates.
That dashboard you're talking about for the survey, that's anybody in the public could go in and.
We can do it with the last two surveys as well.
Yeah, it's on,
Just on the website.
yeah, it's on the webpage still.
now when we get the third survey, can we like run queries to show trending?
Oh, that's a good question.
My assumption would be yes.
Mhm.
It certainly would have trending from the last survey to this survey,
Yeah.
by incorporating all three. My hope and expectation is it will.
Yeah, that would be good.
but
Same
we-
company did them all?
Mhm.
Yeah, and again,
Yeah,
that's another
should be
reason
able
why
to
we
link them.
we stuck with this, is that, if you look at the last 2023 survey, you'll see the trending from the first survey to the second. In addition to national and regional trending for other
Mhm.
municipalities. It's really, it's really, you could spend a lot of time playing around with the
Yeah.
online
Yeah.
dashboard. It's really, really helpful.
It was really interesting because like I remember it was more the public transportation question. How when you like he will show, or in the results, I think he shows the map of Scarborough and like how people are generally like responding. So it's like dark red where they're like really unhappy, and then green where they're fine. And so you can
Yeah.
kind of see like where the pockets are of dissatisfaction, to say, is there a geographical element to
Mhm.
it, or is it?
That,
Pretty
that does
consistent.
exist, or?
I think that's part of the
Mhm.
result, like
Yeah.
in the report from what I remember.
Mhm.
But again, running queries and things to see stuff is interesting,
Mhm.
at least for me, I'm a nerd.
Do you want me to pull up the survey now, or do you know how to find it on the?
Yeah,
You got it,
yeah, and, sorry, and so you're saying that that'll go out this week, next
It
week?
should be in the mail. My expectation is Thursday it's in the mail.
And then they need, once they hit 600, they still need 6 weeks to,
No, I think that it's just a few weeks to
Okay.
tabulate the data. I expect it's
Okay.
really closer to a 6-week process from when they start doing
Goes
stuff
up,
back.
yeah,
then that
right,
we're
okay.
gonna- Yeah,
Well, once they reach 600, we can open it up to other.
right. They'll close
Yeah.
and again, they'll obviously pull in ones that trickle in, but,
Mhm.
yeah, that's really when we switch off the statistically valid survey effort and turn on the kind of open-ended, whoever
Mhm.
wants to apply. And again, that's been one of the most interesting things is you might expect that people of a certain inclination might really try to flood the
Mhm.
open-end one, and they really trend really close. I mean, we're
Okay,
a
yeah.
percentage point or two on almost every issue, so it's not, there's not these huge swings.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see our response rate too, because the first year, 2021, we had like over 800 responses come in with the mailed one, and then 2023, it took a bit to get even to the 600 mark, and we had 608 to end with, so we'll see how it plays in with the school surveys this spring, and
right,
yeah,
Hopefully as well.
yeah.
And both dashboards are still active, so you go back to the 21 survey, play around with the dashboard with results.
and then do we need a plan of? He's gonna give a presentation. Jason, you said, yeah,
Mhm.
he'll give a presentation. Which will be public, and then is there any communication effort around? Putting out the
Once
results
the
and,
information is there.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we'll do a lot of publicity around, here's what the report is and how to find it and how to navigate the dashboard.
And
the-
pulling out specific statistics that we get from it.
that's what I'm wondering about is how do we? Kind of based on the opposition and proponents of the school project.
Mhm.
Kind of the risk of cherry picking data that supports it, which is fine in an opposition or proponent effort.
Right.
But do we make any effort to? Or I guess it's just like the school board is doing where they're just trying to report the information, not with any inference around it or anything.
Well, I think the inference and kind of what we do or what we understand. What we understand the survey is telling us.
Right.
I think is gonna come up in your goal setting session.
Yeah.
Okay.
And other sort of staff initiatives, and that's what comes up around budgeting as well,
Right.
And I think that's really informed a lot of our initiatives and directives over the last 4 years is saying. The community saying they don't. They don't think our sidewalks are up to par, so maybe we need to spend some attention and make some investments in our sidewalks. So that's how it really manifests. So.
One year the budget was like, I think it was our 2021 budget, the first year after the survey,
Mhm.
the theme was like responding to your feedback.
Oh, yeah.
We tried to take, yeah, the survey was kind of the basis for like. Bucketing different projects and investments so that we could say, hey, we heard you, here's what we're doing, and I think we kind of continue that a little bit every year.
Yeah, I don't think we call out the specific percentage point if it's low, if
Yeah.
it's like 60% satisfied, we're not like doing a
Yeah.
big social post about it, but we do use the areas of most concern to determine that this is what people want to hear about. The ones that we do call out are the customer service being over 90% or
Yeah, we used it to really, highlight some of our strengths.
Yeah.
And that's been a nice thing that. In an area which sometimes feels increasingly or overwhelmingly negative, I think it's nice to show that
Yeah.
people generally actually are quite happy with the services and the people and the customer service and the employee experience, so that's.
But town council.
I'm not gonna bring up those very unfair ratings.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know how we fixed that, they're pretty bad, or they've been.
Well-
Leah mentioned flooding the zone with the once that's open to.
Yeah. Yeah,
we tell people what your hobbies are. and-
yeah, then all of a sudden, yeah,
I think that's a little bit baked in.
yeah,
And then also in those highlights would maybe be positive trending things between the past surveys too, to say, here's something we worked
Yeah,
on, here's the reason, then the survey shows we got a positive outcome from that, and yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll have to spend a lot of time
Yeah,
analyzing what the feedback is and look at the benchmarking and the trends. And, you know, I think in general, the survey from 21 to 23 declined a bit.
Mhm.
Part of the context was, you know, just about every survey that ETC did was showed the same sort of trend back. I mean, we're still
Mm.
by many comparative measures around national metrics or regional
Oh,
metrics,
wow.
we're still, I mean, like, I think there's one where like 40 percentage points above the average, and you know, put satisfaction with law enforcement or something like that. And so
Okay.
that went from like 92 to like 91 or 89.
Around municipal entities, right? Yeah, that I think would really be worthy of, so because that would give some context to people who are only focused on Scarborough. And
Mm.
there's, I'm surprised how often, since I've been involved, it seems like there's a real desire to compare ourselves to the surrounding communities
Yeah.
to benchmark where we are. So if we're getting those results, I do think that
Yeah.
adds a lot of context to it and
Yeah.
comparative value.
I do think that's a good point. I don't, to your point, how we highlighted our high scores. I don't know if I can't recall if we like do a good job really reminding people how we compare to national and regional. I don't know if we've ever
Yeah, we
done
don't.
that to say, hey, like,
Yeah.
look at,
Just so you know.
yeah, just so you know, we are doing very well compared to your neighbors and other communities or other states. And again, this goes back to like the challenges sometimes with growth is like we are doing such a good job, so many people want to be here. And so like when people say they don't want growth, like some of it's out of our control, but some of it is because it's just so great when you get so many amenities.
So here, this is in the 2023 report, just as an example. So talks about trends since 2021. Again, this is comparing 2021 to 2023. So there's all of that, what's happening there, how the town compares to other communities nationally. It was customer service received from town employees. The national average is 39.4%, and we were 88.6%. And that's satisfied or very satisfied.
Yeah, so that, I think that info is, you can really reinforce why, people do want to live here. It's why there's demand for the growth, and kind of a little bit that, don't forget how good it is.
Yeah. I remember last year or the year before, we were talking about budget themes. You know, we talked internally about the problem Scarborough has is it's so desirable.
Yes.
That's the, if no one wanted to live here, then we wouldn't have any growth,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and so, that's the problem we have. People love our. So
Right.
we have talked about that, and we have highlighted many of these over the years, particularly around the budget. So,
Can we see the elected officials one?
yeah, let me see if I can, come across where that would be,
Well, a little bit, it refutes it's easy to say, things are going so badly, or they're, and it says, well, not really,
Yeah.
and,
It's a good reset, though. I mean, if we do see a significant dip in some of these, that is also a call for like, hey,
Yeah.
we gotta, yeah.
yeah, it was like a general satisfaction or town leadership or something.
Mhm.
Town's elected quality of leadership provided by town's elected officials.
I see.
Yeah, that was a real
A lot of neutrals, so I mean, maybe it's just they don't know.
34% were satisfied, 32% did not, that were neutral, and 35% were either very dissatisfied or dissatisfied.
I'm gonna blame April for that.
But this is, these are the metrics, how well the town is managing growth, residential.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's what I, like what I was trying to do with this data was some correlation to be like, how much is their dissatisfaction tied to their they're upset with being town elected officials linked to the growth question, to be able to say, is there a strong correlation? And that's really
mhm.
what's driving their dissatisfaction? Or is there a different question that's like the strong correlating thing, like, is it the traffic, is it? So that way we know, like, what is it, and I'm using that as an example, but it helps us kind of figure out what is the reason, because like the overall image, with the things I look at, it's like, you say the overall image is great, but managing growth is bad, and I feel like growth is part of the image, so there's like a little bit of like,
Yeah, some conflict there.
yeah,
Yeah, and I do think there's, you know, that if you take, you hear it all the time about, you know, that Congress is like, has lower approval ratings than, you know,
A lot of,
serial killers or something. And so it trickles down, I think, to
Yeah,
every
I
level of
agree.
government.
so yeah, it's really, I mean, the report, this is just the report itself.
Oh, it did layer the
Yep.
2023.
Yep, they do that in the report, the trends by each category, so you can see what's going up,
Okay.
what's going down. Yep.
And so you think they'll be able to just add the third layer?
My sense is that's what they'll do.
Yeah.
It's particularly if that's what I mean, again, they have all the information.
Right, yeah.
And then the, you know, the benchmarking piece, this is like in 2021. So, this is where you can get into mapping by zone,
Oh, I have not seen this before.
you know.
Okay.
And you can really, sorry, it's really small, it's small for me too. But you really drill down into, you know, what areas. And how they answered. I mean, you could spend hours and
I'm
hours
sure
and
it
hours
will,
going
yeah.
through it, but it's really interesting stuff.
Mhm.
So.
All right, so we'll need to schedule a workshop with Jason when.
Yeah, I'll see. I mean, the first meeting in December is December. Is it the 5th? I don't know. As the third.
Third.
Probably realistically, probably the 17th to be safe. You know, Tom and I were talking about what the sort of, and we're having a leadership retreat next week, so we're gonna talk about a lot of these things, but in terms of next steps, I think we would like the survey results to land, at least be in hand. And allow staff and council to digest that. And then after that, schedule the workshop with senior staff and the council, and kind of talk about goals and priorities and. The outlook for the next year with all of that information, and then following that, the council will meet to set their goals based on all of that feedback.
Mhm.
So that will probably be early January for the goal setting. And again, that's what we need to work that out with the next leadership team.
Yeah, are those all workshop based?
So what we did for what we typically do for staff, it wasn't a workshop, it was more of a meeting, right, where we met. with
Yeah,
you guys.
we called it a workshop because the full council was invited. We didn't televise it. We had it over at the.
Yeah.
And it's really an opportunity for, certainly the council, because you aren't afforded this opportunity to just kind of do a Q&A with senior staff.
Mhm.
Get your kind of curiosities answered, but also an opportunity for staff to sort of level set some expectations about, you know, irrespective of what's happening at the council level or wants to happen, here are the other priorities and objectives and tasks we have on our plate for the next 12 months.
Just for time management. Yeah.
Time management and expectation management.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that, you know, again, it's just the norm now. It's not, we can't say, if it's been happening now for 5 or 6 years, we can't say, wow, it's just this council is really ambitious, but generally speaking, you know, you guys have a lot of stuff you want to get done. And so I think it's just about bridging that gap between what can be done and why, and we do it before the budget so that if there are additional resources that are required for you to
Yeah.
meet your goals, you know that the onset and plan for that.
And then last year, we do the council goal setting usually on a Saturday for like a half day. And last year, we actually had GP Cog come and facilitate,
Mhm.
which was really good. Like April and I worked with them a little bit in the prep, and we still had counselors kind of provide draft goals that they thought were important. And really, the facilitator really just helped to facilitate it down to something more manageable.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think even I would suggest we try and really like slim it down even more to try and find maybe 3 things we want to do and like focus on those 3 and be a little bit more vague. But again, we can see all the feedback, all the survey stuff, and like really ultimately lead that into a goal setting workshop, including our growth conversation. Like I could see the goal setting this year, spending more time on what we want to do about growth,
I agree.
more
Yeah.
so than like other stuff we want to do.
And that may be, like you say, we might have three main goals kind of, and just more subsets on those, you
Yeah.
know, where particularly under growth, there's 10 different ways to come at that, so.
Yeah.
All right, so I did have, oh, sorry, were you all set?
Yep.
The school update, there's one forum left, which you've been
October
promoting,
21st.
and that's, I think, on the pop-up right when you go to the site,
Yeah.
right? Or to the town website. And so that, I think, is there much more to do around that with the school? I know they're working on FAQs and some,
Yep,
tweaks to
they
their
are
site.
sending out one more mailer. That's gonna be a postcard, and they're determining if they should do it sooner or closer to election day, and they're gonna do it next week, I believe. They're also doing Facebook ads every week up until election day. And, they were working on a statement that would go on their webpage about, just the purpose of the communications that they're putting out, being informational.
post-election, do you usually, other than kind of an obligation, you obviously post the results for all of it, but is there any other communication or commentary around that, or, you know, do you ever give results about the number of people who voted, or with any kind of comparison to other elections or anything?
We
I
don't
don't
usually do
But I
that.
know Tom reported out about it.
Tom and Tody usually during the
helpful
first
to know.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
talk
that's
about
fine,
number of percentage of your voter turnout.
I think it was a really high voter turnout last year, like over 80%, for the national election, so I shared that out. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't usually.
I'm not saying we need it, I just didn't know if it was, all right, and then, these nenext couple of things are, I've been, a little light on my effort on these since last month. But the growth workshop item, as I scheduled that for this, I didn't pay attention that the first one
Yeah.
had already happened. But, is there, for the next one of those, John, is there, kind of where do we go from here?
Yep.
Is
So-
there,
So I think what's gonna come out of the next one, as I recall from some of the content that Autumn shared, she's gonna try and get a little bit more into like the mechanisms and recommendations that she has based on some of our existing work too, like the open space plan and things like that. And I think we'll have discussion, probably the beginning of a discussion around like, what do we really want to do? And I think it's a great opportunity to start the conversation. I think we'll have to figure out, or I would recommend the next leadership to figure out like how that conversation continues until we get to goals. To really kind of frame what we think is possible in terms of actual actions we want to take.
in between that, would we have the survey?
No, November 19th is the next, survey won't be delivered yet.
Okay,
So it'd go. November 19th would be next round of growth conversations. Then maybe the survey
Maybe,
results or
November,
the second survey
yeah.
results. We could have like, depending on the next leadership, like it could be. The only thing that I'm aware of that we may want to pencil in December if the school passes is the impact fee piece. Which doesn't have to be long, it can be a 30-minute discussion, but we can say, look, that's part of the bigger growth. Continuation discussion, so it could be December 3rd is. Continuing the conversation from what we learned and what we want to do.
well, I wonder if kind of coming out of the 19th workshop. And I guess this isn't so much about communication, I'm kind of looking at it from a council standpoint, but we could try to then tie in results from the survey to the growth issues.
Yeah.
And where does that, and have some thought around that may just be a subset of the next step of where do we go with, and I talked to you about it of if there was like, what's the format of the group, whether it's a working committee or something, or maybe it's just a council goal
It
effort to,
could be. I mean, I do think one of the things we have to think about is how do we want to engage in the public? Because this is all kind of more
that's what I mean,
the
yeah.
council having the conversations. So how do we want to set up a mechanism for engagement, which could be, again, as we set our goals, part of it can be like, these are the things we want to do. We want feedback on, are these the right things? And again, if it's the will of the council to establish a committee to kind of help address some of the things we want to do, that would be up to us. Or what we've done sometimes in the past, or what we will do when we have specific goals, is we assign it to the committees. So like a lot of the growth stuff, technically, we could assign, if we're talking zoning, you could assign it to the appropriate committees depending on what we want to do. So like, say there is appetite for doing like a tree protection type
Mhm.
ordinance, we could say that goes to Conservation Commission,
Mhm.
and we want them to kind of in the next 90 days give us a recommendation. If it's more zoning based, that would typically go to long range. So we have committees that are in place where we could say, do we want to do that? I know the one thing that has popped up, which the survey will also help inform, is this notion of services, and like, are our services at risk? Again, like just looking at that one, how I feel like a lot of times what we've been hearing is our police and fire are overtaxed because of the growth. Well, at least from the satisfaction of the residents, they seem to be satisfied. But again, maybe we need to have people talk to the PD and say like, what would help
Mhm.
with the pressure, and is it growth related? I actually did ask the fire chief, because I was just curious about like, is the growth putting more pressure on the fire and safety team? And we didn't talk too much about it, but I left the conversation understanding, which I don't quote me on this because it may not be a fair representation of what Chief said. The new growth we're seeing is actually not bad because of all the stuff they're doing in terms of like their inspections and things. So it's actually, in the modern buildings are better anyways.
Mhm.
The bigger challenge for fire and EMS tends to be more of the assisted living communities that we've seen be built in Scarborough in the past 10 years. And so that creates more demand on services than any apartments that we put in.
He explained it to me, and even the medical campus, you know,
Yeah.
that, there's ambulance visits there every
Yeah.
day, you know, so.
So things like that actually have more of an impact on them specifically, not apartments or single family homes.
But, so for what's left with the growth workshops, we don't need to do anything new really than the way you're already trying to promote attendance, right?
Yeah, I've been more promoting that they're happening, but I think it would be good to take what Autumn presented on last night and relay that into social posts, or talk about it more, do more of like a summary recap in the newsletters.
It might be good for you or somebody to record a video, because those do get more traction online. So if you were to record a 1-minute video, just saying like, hey, here's what we learned, here's what we heard, our next
Right, yeah,
Yeah,
topic
that's
is on
true.
this,
yeah.
please
Just to
come.
kind of condense it down a bit.
It was you last night talking about adding to that timeline some more context kind of that could be something that's interesting to look at kind of for people who've been here a long time. I mentioned I was surprised that the growth has actually been very steady. It was down at the very bottom of that, but it was basically 5,000 people every 20 years.
Mhm.
And now within those 20 years, I'm sure there were peaks, but so
I mean, what I took away from the workshop was the town has been on the path we've been on for the past 60+ years. And so the vision of 1964 and how that's evolved, not in a revolutionary, but just through adjustments, was the vision of our community from the sixties till now, and we are where we are because of the choices that were made, and undoing those choices is not really possible, but we can maybe tighten up some things a little bit more, and that's really all we can do. The bigger concern I heard from the meeting, and again, this is what I think we need to make sure the community understands, is like the key things we could do that could actually reduce growth in certain zones because of LD 1829, we can't. And so that, to me, like when I was asking the question about density factors and what, because I was thinking like, oh, we can change those, and then when I was like, well, I would usually say do that, but now you can't. So,
Right.
and actually the density is going to be more than what you have in your current zoning. So there's,
Well, it's kind of a tease. We wish we could do this, but we can't.
yeah. Well, I mean, and we could take the position as a council that, well, we're gonna do it anyways, hoping LD 1829 maybe changes drastically. Or we, acquiesce to the fact that the state law is gonna be the state law, and we just, there's certain things that we wish we could do that we can't. And I think there's gonna be a little bit more of that in workshop too, of like, here's what you can't do, so that way we know better like what the guide rails are. Or what's not within our control, but I think our hands honestly are gonna be quite tied.
Yeah, so if
all.
maybe that idea with the video is if we did it where, if you didn't attend the October 15th, here's what was covered, and it would be a
Mhm.
couple sentences, really informed us about where we had come from and data, and you can find that, I don't know, is that presentation posted anywhere?
Yeah, I mean,
It's in
part
the
of the
documents,
YouTube.
but.
Yeah,
You could go in the comments, like you could have a video and then in the comments put the link to the YouTube or something, so
Right,
you can go
yeah.
watch it.
But then try to bridge it to, that was, reviewing the past, development of the town.
to do a plug for the.
And say,
Yeah.
so, it's okay if you didn't go to that one, the next one's really gonna cover about where we can go from here
Yeah.
or something, and turn it into.
Even just the two of you talking about what stood out to you last night and what your takeaways are, like, that's helpful to hear. Kind of just like getting the reaction from it would be a good angle to go to.
Then I think you could promote that in a way that might drive more interest. People may not have thought last night was more about setting the table
Yeah,
but if we say this next one is really exploring what are the tools we have to control growth, and how do we develop a plan in the very near future for how to move forward with that or something, so implying that this is going to be a big part of 2026. And
I do think our cake with counselors could also be, I mean, we know growth is a topic, maybe we don't advertise it as like we want to hear about
yes,
growth,
I think
but
that's conversation, but
I think we
that'll
can,
come up, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
yeah,
or we can like deliberately say, let's ask certain questions, let's ask, what do you think
True.
about growth?
Yeah,
What do you think about traffic in your neighborhood? What do you think?
kind of like you were doing at Summerfest.
Yeah. Just have a few questions that we just ask consistently, so we're getting dialogue.
Yeah,
we talked about that, having a few base questions that we could ask at every one of them to
Mhm.
try to see the consistency of the answers. All right, so we would just need to, if you could give me like a deadline for when you want to try to, I don't know how far in advance you would kind of promote attendance on that November 19th meeting.
so you're up for doing a video, so I'm here?
Sure.
Great, okay, I'll start, yeah.
It's the energy that just came back.
I
Oh, a video.
know, someone's agreeing to.
Well, it's almost 3 weeks out, so probably a week ahead of time.
Yeah, but it's also good to like recap last night's. not
Maybe
too
it's a
much of a
two-part,
gap.
maybe one of us can do a recap, one of us can do like a
Right,
preview of like, here's what's coming, like with more detail than
that's,
What
yeah.
we do in the first one.
Yeah, if you want to do that, I think you could do the second part because you've been more in those meetings about the.
Yeah.
What it's gonna include.
What the content of that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just say I'm gone all next week.
Okay, so we'll do it after that.
Yeah,
Or if you want me, I can do the. Here's what happened, here's what we learned, here's what's coming shortly, and if you wanna do. The week of November. One that's like our second week of November. Here's what's coming, I think we could probably talk to Autumn
okay,
and
yeah,
get more insight.
I think ideally it would be you guys summarizing some key points from what was talked about last night so that, because I think the majority of people are not gonna be watching that back. So if we could do our part to like pull out the key points that we're trying to get across. Like I'll have some written up, but then also just to hear it out loud.
Can you do some like fancy videography where if like I'm like. Talking about what I learned and if I told you like what slide it like had.
Oh, yeah,
Good.
definitely.
Yeah, so that way it's a little bit more dynamic. and-
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be good, cause I mean, plugging it in a video is good, but I think it's more engaging to have it be like you guys talking about something.
Yeah.
Recapping it.
so do you think it's better if both of us are discussing it or still having it as two separate?
I could see you doing two separate videos, but it doesn't need to be like one's recapping last night and one's plugging the next one. I think they could both be recapping last night in their own ways.
Yeah.
And then from there, I
Yeah.
could like plug, I can just say it in writing above it when I post it about
The
the
next meeting.
next one, yeah.
Well, then if you wanted to do that next week, then it would probably be helpful to me to see yours.
Yeah,
So-
Yeah.
So we're not duplicating.
Yeah, so you guys have different talking points, like
Yeah,
you might talk about a takeaway that you had that's different
Yeah.
than what Larry
Yeah.
yeah,
does. We're doing something similar with the fire department. They did an announcement video about their third ambulance and then I just recorded them doing a second video, but same topic, but it's about why they picked the location, the fire station that they did. So it's like just a different angle of talking about the same thing.
views.
April did.
Yeah, we gotta beat 1.9 thousand views.
Is that what her
Yeah. that's
election?
what her view,
for what?
for her views on.
Her
on
election.
Say 9,000 views.
1.9.
Wow.
There's a 9.
I want 3,000, Larry, I want us to get each, not collectively.
Okay,
Pull out the tricycle.
Yeah. The trike, the trike.
so then we need to have this done prior to that next meeting. So that we can
True.
announce that we've beaten her.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
that would be ideal.
Um,
And we also need a video of the two of you together to talk about cake with the counselors.
Yeah,
With cake in hand.
that, you could tie that together to say,
Yeah.
you know, we hope that this new program we're rolling out allows everybody to give us back input on these,
Yeah.
on these things, you know, so.
maybe we should plug that too
Yeah.
in the videos.
All right, so, cake with the counselors is where I kind of fell down on what I was getting done. Other than, the original kind of geographic regions that we
You guys
talked
listed
about.
out Locations.
But I think, John, you had some specific ideas around some of the neighborhood communities, which I didn't know as well. So I'm moving on there to cake with counselors. So do you want to try to be specific today with where you think we should aim for those?
Yeah,
And then I'll try
Picking
to,
yeah, why don't we pick 6, is 6
okay.
enough, and then 6 places, 6 dates, and
Um,
And you're trying to consolidate them to be happening within a short window of time.
yeah, like 2 or 3.
So it feels like
yeah,
a
I think so. Yeah, maybe
yeah,
if we
concerted
did
effort.
2 a week or something, I mean,
Mhm.
which is a pretty good commitment. I think,
Yeah.
you know, I've said something about this a couple of times, but not without asking the other counselors
Mhm.
for their willingness to participate.
At a minimum, I could see it be like if we do 6. You and I could be each at 3 or try and commit to be at 3. or
Yeah.
More if we have the time. And then ask the other ones to try and come to at least 1. And I guess Michelle, she won't, it might be like spanning her coming in, but it would be good for her to be included in coming to
Mhm.
them. So is 6 too many? Should it be 5? I just want to make sure we have good coverage in the town.
Maybe we should figure out the sites first, and that
Yeah.
would dictate how many
Yeah.
we. So I'd like the idea of the library.
For Oak Hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can,
any corners.
and I think we don't. We are gonna need to kind of be aggressive about trying to get an audience. It'll be tough. Like we went to one of the presentations for the schools at Eight Corners the other night, and there was a few counselors, a couple other school staff, and 2 or 3 people who were coming to get the information. It just makes it harder to make it
Mhm.
engaging.
More cupcakes for us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think if we tell them we have cupcake, like, I think that's the draw, right? Like, I'm gonna have a cupcake and.
And that it's not about like one topic,
Yeah.
but. Just
Well, and
Found the area.
maybe that could be in the counselor corner
Mhm.
part of the newsletter. It could also
Promote.
promote, maybe not,
Totally, yeah.
maybe not forcing the counselor to incorporate that, but right within that same
Yep,
block of the
that's
newsletter to
area.
say, you know, if you want to meet and talk to your counselor, here's the schedule.
Yeah,
And I don't think if somebody lives on, you know, Black Point Road and wants to go to Dunstan for it, doesn't matter
Mhm.
really, right? Are we trying to? Well, there's no way you could control that
They can.
anyways, but.
I mean, they
yeah.
can go wherever they want if there's a date that works better, but I think,
in marketing it, I was thinking of doing it about your neighborhood,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right. Okay,
not about generally, what do you feel about town?
okay. Well, and people will identify with, if you
Mhm.
Yeah.
say it's at
it
the
should
library,
be
they're gonna
self-identified.
identify as that neighborhood, yeah.
Right,
Um,
Could we, if we did the fire stations, if we did North Scarborough, Pleasant Hill and Dunstan. And Pine Point,
do we need Pleasant Hill separately from Oak Hill? I guess so.
I was thinking
We're looking
Pleasant
at-
Hill and Higgins
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, okay. So if that was the Pleasant Hill Fire Station,
yeah,
and that has a meeting room upstairs, right, or something?
Probably just doing the bays, that's
Yeah.
really what we do.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
mhm.
um,
And then
So,
the one I feel like we're missing is West Scarborough, which I guess Dunstan kind of. Could be,
to North
like-
Scarborough Engine 5. The North Scarborough station.
will West Scarborough people go to that one?
well, like we could do,
Where, I think we talked about Stacy's farm, Maybe.
Long-term farm.
Broadturn Farm. Is that too far west or too far?
I think if you guys, I think if you schedule it, you can see what turns up. I don't think,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's all in Scarborough. I mean,
Yeah.
right.
I'm not asking, we're not talking about
Yeah,
something up in Augusta, so.
But yeah, but you do want people to feel like we're coming to them.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's different than Dunstan, right?
Yeah, so Dunstan Fire could be Pine Point and,
Pine Point and Dunstan.
yeah.
We talked about the Downs at one point.
oh, yeah, the
Right,
Downs
that's
would
a,
be good.
yeah, and I wonder if like Allagash would let us do something. Like if it's a weekday night, or a weekday at 6 o'clock, they
Yeah.
might not care much. I don't know if they have a separate meeting space. When I was there, I didn't go upstairs or anything.
I saw that the M&R office isn't being used anymore there, so I'm wondering if they would let us use that space. Or we could reach out to the HOAs that they have there and just see if there's anyone who has a HOA space
Yeah,
that they would let us.
Should we do
use.
it at the hub? That's,
Oh, that's a good idea.
you know, it's not right there, but it's right up. Payne.
Yeah, I
mean,
think that's a
yeah.
good spot. The garage part or like the big bay is a good place to do it.
All right, so we've got the library, Pleasant Hill Fire Department, Dunstan FD. The hub,
How many is this?
what was the other one? Sorry.
How many do you have so
4.
far?
Wait, Joanne?
Library, Dunstan, North Scarborough Fire Station.
No, I didn't have North Scarborough. Okay, I had Dunstan Fire and Pleasant Hill, so North Scarborough Fire Station.
And we could do Broad Turn Farm if Stacy would host us.
So where is the North Scarborough Fire?
That is, that's on the Gorham line.
So would that, well, kind of, if you did that for kind of everybody west of the turnpike, the people that are further south might come into Dunstan
Yeah,
but
Yeah, it's the corner of County Road and Saco Street.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's a good, I mean, North Scarborough often feels like they're left out
yeah,
of the conversation, so I think it's good to
yeah,
at least make a showing and then. I mean, some of this too to me is like, we're showing like, hey, we're coming to you in places that we don't usually go because we want to hear from you, so. We hope you take advantage of.
yeah.
Of us being here because we really want to talk to you.
So now I've got 5, I think. Like at the library for Oak Hill and north of here, like up 114. Pleasant Hill for Pleasant Hill and
Higgins.
Dunstan Fire Department for Pine Point and Dunstan. The hub for the Downs and North Scarborough Fire Department for out that way. And then, John, you had said about some particular neighborhoods that you thought would, or communities you
We could
thought would.
ask, if. My brain's still not working from last night. Across from Green Acres,
The
State
manufactured home in there,
yes.
yeah,
I think that would be a good one. They have a community center there. They hosted us one time for a meeting. Nick went there. And it was a really good turnout, so. I think,
okay. What is it called?
I would just put state manufactured homes.
Okay,
And I can email the DeFosses to see if they would be willing to host us.
now what about any of the senior? Things that they're actually from being connected with the school thing, that they're not very welcoming for outside groups.
Hmm.
Meaning like they have their
Yeah,
activities and
Hmm.
and they
that's where we could coordinate with community services when they have are they doing a senior lunch or anything?
Oh, good point.
They,
yeah.
they do
Weekly.
senior lunches regularly.
Yeah.
And they always have. maybe
Pretty good
breakfast
turnout,
with
yeah.
something.
That might be an option to do a senior lunch.
Yeah.
And then, what about like the veterans home? Like going to the veterans home, I don't know how much,
I know they also have some regular, I think, lunch programming.
Yeah.
At the VFW.
yeah,
Down on Mason Libby Road.
yeah,
Another one, I don't know if anyone's a Rotarian, but that always seemed like a missed or a potential opportunity for engagement to have people attend one of their meetings.
I am connected to Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
And they have a meeting once a month, once every other month, that are lunchtime
Yeah.
meetings. I don't know if that would kind of be like engaging the business community.
I think that's important, like, I think we should have at least one option. For the business community, a lot of them are Scarborough residents, but,
Right.
like, we want that perspective as well.
And they already meet at the library. And like, that's one I could cover because I could do it in the middle of the day.
Yeah,
All right, so that gives us, well, that's actually 7.
Truly, it's a world tour,
Yeah.
7 continents,
Go ahead, sir.
your world tour,
Yeah,
the 7 continents.
Oh, she's getting creative.
Yeah.
yeah, it's already churning in
Yeah.
there. Uh, All right, well, maybe we should go with this and see if they pan out and
Yeah.
what we get to. So what would be the next steps for this?
Picking some dates that we
Mhm.
can start to advertise.
So but do we need to,
I guess they don't all need to be overly advertised. To start, you could do like the more bigger neighborhood ones.
yeah, maybe if we, it's a little bit of a cart and horse thing. Do we get to some of these people that are controlling these, like the library schedule and the hub schedule and the fire department? I think if we,
I
Talk
think
to
that's
Chief
probably the
Pino
most
and-
flexible. Yep.
yeah, and
I would work
we
on the
could,
other ones.
right, and we could, I'm sure we could get him to agree to all three at once. And so, do we want to try to pick some dates? So if we're going to say, could we host this meeting, we'd have a date in
Yeah,
mind?
or at least like what weeks you're thinking.
Yeah.
It's like mid-November.
Do you want to,
10th through the 21st.
John, do you want to try to do these on the off council weeks? So that it's one less, one less thing to do in the same week? Or you want to just, how fast do you want to try to get through them all? If there's,
What if we did, because we won't have any committees meetings in November. Except for the
Hmm.
citizen committees. So if we targeted like Tuesday, Thursdays, if we said. For
Right,
finding
okay.
dates, we're gonna say November 11th, 18th, 25th. We could do Thursday the 6th, 13th and 20th. I think the 27th is. Thanksgiving would be my guess.
Yeah,
So then that gives us at least 6 dates, and some of these things
Um,
like the lunches and things, we might have to just. We did a senior lunch, that just might be like, when can we get on their calendar?
yeah, we don't have to advertise.
Ideally, we haven't done before.
so if we did,
Holidays.
is there? Well, we're not gonna have had the second growth meeting until the 19th, right? I guess that doesn't matter.
It'll be good,
Because
because
we
we
can
can
still-
invite them to comment.
yeah, that's true. So the 11th, 13th, 18th, 20 would be 4, right? Is that what you said?
Mhm.
11, 18, 25,
You say 13, 11 is 13.
11, November 11th, November 13th, November 18th, November 20th, November 25th, and we could try and do something November 6th. We're ready.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so then it feels like a November.
is that enough time to be notifying people?
I think so.
Yeah, I think if we start, yeah, we still have 2 weeks left of October.
I mean, to tell them in advance that
Oh,
we're
I
doing
see.
it. What if we did December 2nd instead of November 6th?
You can do that. I think that just gives us more time. Because we can really communicate this and then the November 1st newsletter.
Okay, but I've only got 6 dates, 11, 13, 18, 20, 25,
And second,
the 2nd, and then the 4th.
11, 13, 18, 20, 25 second, I 6.
We had 7
Places
places.
7, so
Yeah.
then we could do the 4th.
And we can start in November, and if we, for some reason we can't, like state manufacturer doesn't want to do it, we'll
Yeah,
drop out a date in December. All right,
So you're not doing one on the 6th of November,
right,
okay, and the 11th is Veterans Day, but. I don't know.
Maybe we should do the 10th then that week.
Okay. 10th is a Monday,
Yeah,
okay. Um. All right, so can we split this up a little bit if, I can definitely get to the Chamber of Commerce. And actually, I can talk to Chip at the library because it would be that schedule would matter also. I'm assuming the Chamber, well, you know what, the Chamber, their meeting is, I don't see it on here. I'll get it. I don't. Oh, there, it's on the 17th of November. So maybe we'll go for instead of the 18th, we'll try to do the 17th, but we'll.
That works.
So I can cover figuring out well, maybe I just need to do all this, because if 2 or 3 of us are doing it, there'd be a lot of back and forth on, I promise this date, but let me at least get started with it tomorrow and let everybody know. John, do you know anybody at State Manufacturing?
No, now.
Okay, if you can do that one. I can do all the rest.
I can check the hub. If you want me to check the hub? I email a lot with them. I'm trying to get dates. Or what's the best way? get dates
If
for
you
these.
do that one, you could also talk to them about the senior lunch,
Okay, I can do that.
okay? And the other one is just using the facility.
Yeah, who's the best to reach out on the senior lunch? Should I just go
Go to Gail.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think maybe we need to pull something together to kind of promote it to the council, something that says, here's our goals for this and what the format would be, and then we can ask for, who can work which ones. All right. Sorry, I didn't get more done on that in between. And the last existing thing was the election day table strategy that I purposely waited on that a little bit. But I will get out the kind of everybody picking their timeframes.
Yep. And I think for that, right, we're still promoting the survey is the big thing. Like we want people to take the survey and sign up for the newsletter. Is there anything we could share and promote the Cakes with Counselors, because those won't have happened yet?
Okay, yeah.
And I can just generally talk to people.
We could have cupcakes there and say, take a
Yeah.
cupcake.
Yeah,
Next time you could get
it's
another
coming.
one.
Yeah,
I don't know if we have a cake line a lot of cake talk, and I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know where we're gonna find the revenue or the budget for all of this.
So we make a lot of money as town councilors, so.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
ask everybody to contribute
Yeah.
10% of their.
Yeah.
Did I,
The
have I ever,
cupcakes at Sam's last long, so like, if we.
Great, you just gotta buy them in bulk.
We can buy them in bulk.
Hour- hour
And
cupcakes.
then, and if people don't show up, they'll.
Put it back at John's Honda and just
Yeah.
run around town with them.
Yeah.
when I was first filling out the paperwork after I got elected and Tony had sent me the information, there was a, whatever you call it, W-9 or whatever, where you had to figure. And I said, why do you need this information for payroll? She said, well, for the stipend. And I was, had
Oh.
no idea there was a stipend.
Wow,
Um,
icing on the cake.
Yeah,
Wow, you're.
I see what you did there. All right, so I think that's pretty, do we need to, are we trying to be next to the town for that, like we have for the last few things? I'm sure Kristen could work that out for us, but for the, sorry, the tables at the election day.
Gotcha, thinking cake. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Guys normally coordinate.
We can check in with Kristen, clerk's office. find out
Okay,
what the deal is and get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, I think we're good. Any new business?
Are there any other upcoming town events that we might wanna be at in December?
Oh, I was just talking with community services, their Santa in the Park is now Sparkle in the Park. So
Sparkle?
the Sparkle, yeah.
What's
so-
that? Can I be Santa? I don't really wanna be Santa.
You can be Sparkle.
Yeah.
You're right, that every day, John.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't know the format of it, and I think it's usually kind of dark out, right?
Yeah. No, I don't think that's like a tabling thing.
Yeah,
It's because people usually drive, right?
I think that's,
I thought they-
it's more, I think last year they went back
They
to
switched
the,
Oh, okay.
I think.
One thing we could do too, again, if there's appetite, I mean, I still wanna go. I haven't been to a football game this season.
Hmm,
Sometimes it's fun just to like have a table there and just,
I think the sporting events is another opportunity.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
basketball games in the winter, set up a table right in the
Yeah.
lobby.
yeah.
You get a lot of foot traffic,
When does basketball season, that starts in December?
probably late November, December.
Yeah.
something like that.
That might be one thing. You can reach out to the board. Who is the board communications chair or council liaison? Do we know?
to the school.
Yeah. But who is your counterpart on the schools comms committee? Is that Jillian?
Oh, the school board for the school project, Jillian is doing that, yeah, I don't know if that's her, her regular role, but yeah, and actually Shannon's at every one of those as well,
We might want to like
yeah.
do this, invite them to these if they want to be with us, even though it's Cake with the
Meet the
Council,
school board kind of,
the
yeah,
board there, but if we do a tailing event at a school event, would be good to
Yeah.
have the board there. And
Uh,
this really should be like, in my opinion. Like, it would be nice if we like had a cadence of like 2 times a month, we're gonna be out in the community at a event that they're at. And just
yeah,
try and make that like something we aspire to do, not that everybody has to be at every event, but
just public events in general. And have a goal kind of twice a month, we're interacting outside of council meetings.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's important because like sometimes, at least for me, like while I interact with people, it's very easy to feel like the people at the meeting are the ones that are like representative of the community. And sometimes I have to get out of my own head to be like, there are 20,000 people in this
Mhm,
community
it's
that
true.
don't come to these, and they never will. So if we want to know what they think, we have to ask.
go to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that idea of just kind of having an expectation there to be something that could just be a running item for us is what, over the next 2 months, what are the events we
Yeah.
can be
Yeah.
at, yeah.
Yeah.
And specifically around kind of more, I really like the idea of the sporting events because it has some camaraderie and enthusiasm
Yeah.
around supporting town,
Yeah.
sports and everything, so I bet it wouldn't be hard to buying 2 things a month. Sports alone, you could do that and they run all year long,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
Um,
baseball will be big to be
Yeah.
down at Peterson if we
Yeah.
wanted to have a table at Peterson. In the spring,
they'd be warm then, so you could do your dunking booth.
yeah, do that, dunk a counselor, that'd be fun. Or dunk Tom. I did do a dunk tank for my 40th birthday. It was cold. It was May.
Yeah, you need to let that water sit in the sun for a while.
Yeah,
I like that, John. All right, I'll get to Shannon on that. I'll copy Jillian too, just in case she's
Yeah.
the lead on. They are pretty wrapped up right this minute with all the referendum work.
yeah, but once that's over, I mean, if we're doing this after. I think once we have dates and stuff, it's more of like, hey, we're inviting you
Yeah,
if you want to be with us, but we also are planning to do a normal cadence, and it would be great for the board and the council to be there together, because that way
meet your town.
Yeah.
Leaders,
Yeah.
yeah.
we're gonna raise that score, Larry. Gonna raise that town leadership score on the survey next year.
All right, well, maybe we'll set a goal.
Yeah.
10-point improvement.
That's assuming you guys are likable at these events. We don't know about that.
You're right, that's true. And some of them, we couldn't bring cupcakes, so we're really
No,
on the
yeah.
edge.
Yeah.
All right, that's great input, John, thanks. All right. Anything else for today? Do I have a motion to